You bought a KitchenAid stand mixer 3 years ago. Paid $499. Your mother had one for 30 years. You figured you were buying the same thing. You weren't. The worm gear stripped out after 14 months of normal use. You called KitchenAid. They told you worm gears are a wear item and not covered under warranty. The repair estimate came back at $180. You went online to find parts and found a Reddit thread with 400 comments, all from people describing the exact same failure on mixers bought between 2019 and 2023. Here's what changed. Between 2019 and 2022, KitchenAid quietly shifted gear materials on several mixer models, from all-metal internals to a nylon composite worm gear. No announcement, no model number change, same box, same price, different parts inside. That's not a one-brand story. That's a pattern. Across appliances, electronics, and tools, something shifted in how products are built, and the evidence is showing up in repair shops, Reddit threads, and Consumer Reports reliability data. By the end of this video, you'll know which product categories have been hit hardest, which brands made changes that actually matter to your wallet, how to spot a compromised product before you buy it, and what the reliability data looks like now versus 5 years ago. This is practical. Let's get into it. Start with washing machines. Because the data here is stark. Yale Appliance publishes annual service call rate reports based on tens of thousands of units they sell and service. Their most recent data shows that the average service call rate across all major washing machine brands is around 13 to 15% within the first 3 years of ownership. 5 years ago, that number was closer to 8 to 10% for the same brands. That's not random variation. That's a trend moving in the wrong direction. The brands hit hardest in Yale's data: LG front-load washers, Samsung front-load washers, and GE's new UltraFresh line. LG's front-loaders currently carry a service call rate of approximately 22% within 3 years, according to Yale's 2023 service data. Samsung is close behind at around 19%. What changed on the LG side? The direct drive motor, which LG famously guaranteed for 10 years, remains solid. The problems are concentrated in the door boot seal, the control board, and the drain pump assembly. These are components that were redesigned in the 2019 to 2021 production runs and have generated disproportionate warranty claims ever since. One LG owner wrote, WM4000 HBA, bought it in 2021. Drain pump failed at 20 months. Then the door seal. Then a control board error that LG couldn't diagnose remotely. 3 service calls in 2 years. The technician told me off the record that the 2021 and 2022 models have a known issue they haven't publicly acknowledged. End quote. That phrase, off the record, comes up a lot in appliance service circles right now. Bottom line, if you're buying a washing machine, Consumer Reports currently rates Speed Queen and LG's top-load models as significantly more reliable than any front loader from LG or Samsung. The front loader premium is real. So is the risk. But washing machines aren't where the shift is most surprising. That comes next. Refrigerators. Specifically, French door refrigerators. This category has the worst reliability trend in the appliance sector right now. Consumer Reports' 2023 reliability survey, covering data from more than 100,000 owner responses, found that French door refrigerators have a predicted 5-year problem rate of 37% across all brands. That's more than 1 in 3. 5 years ago, the same survey put that number at 24%. What changed? Ice makers. Specifically, indoor ice and water dispensers integrated into the fresh food section rather than the freezer. This design became the default on most French door models, starting around 2018 to 2019. It looks cleaner, it takes up less freezer space, and it fails constantly. The ice maker assembly in a modern French door refrigerator is exposed to fresh food temperature fluctuations rather than stable freezer conditions. It leaks, it freezes up, it triggers error codes. Repair costs for an ice maker replacement on a high-end French door unit, a Samsung RF28T5001SR, or an LG LRMVS 3006S, typically run $300 to $450 for parts and labor. Samsung's French door line is particularly well documented here. The RF28 and RF23 series have generated Consumer Reports reliability ratings of poor to very poor for 5 consecutive survey cycles. Samsung's ice maker design, the twin cooling indoor system, has a documented failure pattern that Samsung has acknowledged through multiple service bulletins, none of which were communicated to buyers at point of sale. One owner wrote, Samsung RF28 French door. Ice maker started leaking at 18 months. Water pooled under the vegetable drawers. Samsung sent a tech, he replaced the ice maker assembly. Failed again at month 24. Samsung said the second failure was a separate issue. Not covered. Repair quote, $380. This is a $2,200 refrigerator. Bottom line, avoid French door refrigerators with indoor ice makers entirely, unless you're buying a Whirlpool or Maytag model. Consumer Reports rates both significantly above the category average. If you want Samsung or LG, buy their bottom freezer models, which use a simpler ice maker design and fail far less often. And here's something almost nobody tells you about refrigerators going in. The refrigerator problem that will cost you money even if the appliance itself never fails. Energy consumption. Specifically, what happened to it. The Department of Energy mandated updated efficiency standards that took effect in 2014 and again in 2022. Manufacturers had to hit lower kilowatt-hour targets or pull models from the market. The solution most brands landed on, reducing compressor capacity and switching to variable speed compressors that cycle more frequently to maintain temperature. These compressors use less energy on paper. They also run more often, and more run cycles means more wear over time. Yale Appliances service data shows compressor-related service calls climbing on French door models built after 2019. The average cost of a compressor replacement on a side-by-side or French door unit, $600 to $900 including labor, not counting the food loss if the compressor dies without warning. One owner described it this way: came home to a warm fridge, LG LRFVS 3006S, just under 3 years old, lost $300 in food. Compressor quote was $800. LG extended warranty on linear compressors, covers 10 years on the part but not the labor, which was $350. So I paid $350 to fix a $2,500 refrigerator at year 3. Nobody warned me about this. The 10-year compressor warranty sounds like protection. It isn't complete protection. Labor costs on a compressor job average $300 to $400 regardless of whether the part is covered. Bottom line, if you're buying a high-end refrigerator, budget for the possibility of a major service call in years 3 through 5. And read the warranty terms carefully. Part coverage and labor coverage are two very different things. Now let's move to a category where something actually improved, and where that improvement is hiding a catch nobody's talking about. Dishwashers. The reliability story here is more nuanced than appliances. Bosch is the benchmark. Consumer Reports has rated Bosch dishwashers at the top of the reliability category for 8 consecutive years. Their projected 5-year problem rate sits at around 9%, roughly half the industry average of 17 to 19%. What explains it? 3 things. Bosch uses a condensation drying system rather than a heated dry element, which eliminates one major point of failure. Their rack hardware and spray arm assemblies use higher-grade plastics than most competitors. And their control board reliability, based on Yale Appliance service data, is well above the category average. Here's the catch. Bosch raised prices on their most reliable model lines, the 500 and 800 series, by 20 to 25% between 2021 and 2023. A Bosch 500 series SHPM 88Z75N now retails around $1,149. A Bosch 800 series SHPM 88Z75N runs closer to $1,349. The entry-level Bosch 300 series, which is what most people buy when they see the Bosch name and want to spend less, uses a different rack system and a less robust control board. Consumer Reports' reliability rating for the 300 series is good, not excellent. It's better than Samsung or LG dishwashers, but it's not the same product as the 500 or 800. One owner learned this the hard way, bought the Bosch 300 series thinking I was getting the reliability I read about. Rack tine row broke off at 14 months. Plastic holder on the upper rack cracked at 20 months. Nothing catastrophic, but I expected more from a $750 dishwasher. The 500 series parts are notably heavier." End quote. The Bosch name has a reliability halo. The 300 series lives in that halo without fully earning it. Bottom line, if you're buying Bosch, buy the 500 series minimum. The jump from 300 to 500 is about $200, and the quality difference is real. The 300 series is fine. The 500 is where the reliability data actually lives. But appliances aren't the only category where the ground has shifted. Let's talk about electronics, specifically the one change in TV manufacturing that most people are completely unaware of: panel sourcing, and why it matters more than the brand name on the box. Here's something that genuinely surprises most buyers. Sony does not manufacture its own TV panels. Neither does Samsung, for most of its lineup. TCL, Hisense, Vizio, and virtually every other TV brand you can name buy their panels from a small number of panel manufacturers: LG Display, Samsung Display, BOE, CSOT, and AUO. The panel manufacturer determines a significant portion of the TV's real-world quality and longevity. The brand assembles it, adds processing, and puts their name on it. This matters because panel sourcing shifted significantly between 2020 and 2023. Supply chain disruptions pushed several brands to qualify secondary panel sources, primarily BOE and SOT, to supplement their traditional suppliers. The same model number in some cases shipped with different panels depending on when and where it was manufactured. Our teams documented this specifically with the TCL 6 series in 2022. 2 units of the same TCL 65R655 model tested differently, one with a VA panel sourced from a traditional supplier, one with an IPS-type panel from a secondary source. The picture characteristics were measurably different. The consumer had no way to know which panel they'd receive at checkout. One TCL buyer wrote, "Ordered two 65/655 TVs for 2 rooms. They arrived the same week. Same model, same price. The pictures look noticeably different. Black levels on one are clearly better than the other. Read about the panel lottery afterward. Would have been nice to know beforehand. The panel lottery is real. It's more common than the industry admits, and it disproportionately affects mid-range TVs in the $500 to $1,000 range, where brands are managing margins tightly. Bottom line, if you're buying a mid-range TV, buy from a retailer with a generous return policy. Costco's 90-day return window is the standard to match. Use the first 2 weeks to assess picture uniformity, corner glow, and backlight consistency before your return window closes. And speaking of things hidden in plain sight, here's what changed in small kitchen appliances that nobody's covering. The motor problem in handheld and countertop appliances. KitchenAid's worm gear story at the top of this video is not unique to KitchenAid. Across the countertop appliance category, stand mixers, food processors, blenders, there has been a documented shift toward lighter-duty motor housings and composite gear trains on products that used to use all-metal internals. Vitamix is the exception worth noting. Consumer Reports rates Vitamix blenders at the top of the blender category for reliability. And Vitamix has not changed their motor or blade assembly design in any meaningful way for their core Ascent and Explorian lines. A Vitamix E310 at $349 uses the same 2.0 horsepower motor and hardened steel blade assembly as models sold 15 years ago. Their 7-year warranty is meaningful because the product actually holds up to it. Yale Appliances data on Vitamix shows a service call rate of under 5% within 5 years. For context, Ninja blenders, which dominate the sub-$150 category, carry a service call rate roughly 3 times higher based on the same dataset. One Vitamix owner described the contrast. Used a Ninja for 2 years. Motor started smelling hot when I blended anything thicker than a smoothie. Bought a Vitamix E310 on sale for $299. It's been 4 years. I blend frozen fruit and ice daily, and it runs like the first day. I genuinely don't understand why I waited. 20 seats. The durability gap between a $299 Vitamix and a $129 Ninja is real. Over 7 years, the Vitamix is the cheaper appliance if you count the cost of replacing the Ninja. Bottom line, in the blender category, the Vitamix E310 at $299 to $349 is one of the clearest cases of a premium price that pays for itself. If that's out of reach, look at the KitchenAid K400, which Consumer Reports rates above most Ninja models for reliability. Which brings us to the category where the shift was most deliberate and most hidden: power tools. Specifically, what happened to DeWalt and Milwaukee after their parent companies merged with other brands. Stanley Black & Decker, which owns DeWalt, went through significant cost restructuring between 2020 and 2023. Their manufacturing footprint shifted. DeWalt brushless tools made before 2020 have a reputation among professional contractors that is difficult to overstate. The 20V Max brushless series from 2017 to 2019 is still considered by many electricians and carpenters to be the most reliable cordless platform they've used. DeWalt tools made from 2021 onward have generated a noticeably different conversation on contractor forums and Reddit's r/tools community. Chuck quality on drills, switch failures on circular saws, battery communication errors on newer FlexVolt packs. This isn't universal. The Atomic sub-brand, DeWalt's lightweight DIY line, was always a budget tier and is performing as expected. The concern is with the premium FlexVolt and XR lines, where quality consistency has reportedly declined, according to professional users who buy these tools at volume. Milwaukee, owned by Tektronix Industries, has gone the other direction. Their M18 fuel platform, independently tested by Project Farm on YouTube across dozens of comparison videos with hundreds of thousands of views, consistently outperforms competing platforms on runtime, torque, and durability. Milwaukee's warranty service is also rated higher than dewalt's in recent contractor surveys. One contractor wrote on Reddit, "Used dewalt exclusively for 12 years, started replacing failed units with Milwaukee M18 fuel about 2 years ago because the dewalt warranty process became a nightmare. Haven't looked back. The Milwaukee stuff is just tighter." Bottom line, for professional use or heavy DIY, Milwaukee M18 fuel is the platform to be on right now. For occasional home use, DeWalt Atomic or the older XR platform units, if you can find them refurbished or open box, still represent solid value. Here's what this all adds up to. 4 things this video actually taught you. 1. Reliability trends are moving the wrong direction in French door refrigerators and front-load washers. The 5-year problem rates are materially worse than they were 5 years ago. The category averages are not where you want to be. 2. Brand names are not product guarantees. The KitchenAid name didn't change. The Worm Gear did. The Bosch name didn't change. The difference between a 300 and 500 series did. The DeWalt name didn't change. What's inside the box may have. 3. Panel sourcing in mid-range TVs means the same model number can ship with different panels. Buy from a retailer with a real return window and actually use those first 2 weeks. 4. Some premium products have genuinely maintained their quality, and they're worth the premium. Vitamix. Bosch 500 and 800 series. Milwaukee M18 fuel. Speed Queen washers. Sony's Bravia XR line. These aren't just marketing. The data backs them up. The single biggest mistake to avoid: buying based on a brand reputation earned 5 to 10 years ago without checking whether the current product still earns it. Reputation is historical. The product in the box is what you're actually buying. Buying guidance by situation. Washing machine, Speed Queen TR7 at $949 for reliability first buyers. LG Top Load WT7900 HBA at $799 if you want modern features with acceptable risk. Avoid front loaders from Samsung or LG until their service call rates improve. Refrigerator, Whirlpool WRS325 SDHZ side-by-side at $1,099. Or Maytag MFI 2570 FEZ French door. Both rate above average in Consumer Reports reliability surveys. If you want a French door, avoid indoor ice entirely. Dishwasher, Bosch 500 series SHPM 55Z12N at around $999. Not the 300, the 500. TV, Sony X90L in your size. Costco, 90-day return window. Test it for 2 weeks before the window closes. Blender, Vitamix E310 at $299 to $349. It's cheaper over time than replacing budget blenders every 2 years. What's the product that surprised you most, either by holding up longer than you expected or failing faster than it should have? Drop it in the comments. The specific model and how long you've had it. And if this helped you avoid a mistake before you made it, subscribe. That's what we're here to do.